That day passed as all days had passed before it. Outwardly ordinary, inwardly false. The city moved around me with its usual dead-eyed rhythm. Trains screamed along iron tracks. Phones glowed in the hands of strangers. Traffic hissed over rain-dark roads. People laughed too loudly in cafes, cursed into headsets, stared at billboards, swallowed pills, chased money, bent their necks before 1,000 little altars of distraction. Every face I passed seemed wrapped in a sleep so complete it bordered on sacred or cursed. I could no longer tell the difference, and for the first time in my life, the world looked staged, not unreal, worse than unreal, engineered. Everything felt positioned, slightly off center, like scenery built to resemble life, but lacking its true pulse. Streetlights hummed with a sinister intimacy. Church spires pierced the sky like warning signs no one could read. Snatches of conversation drifted toward me from passing crowds, and though the words were ordinary, they sounded rehearsed, as if spoken by mouths unaccustomed to repeating lines they did not understand. I kept my head down. I tried to continue as I had before. I answered questions. I nodded when I expected. I performed my role with whatever scraps of normality I had left. But inwardly, a procession had begun. Questions, endless questions. What had opened within me, and why now? Why did everything I once accepted without resistance suddenly seem wrapped in layers, symbols and disguises? And why? I feel watched. That feeling followed me everywhere after the first night, not the crude paranoia of being observed by human eyes. This was older, colder, impossible to locate. I would feel it in empty hallways and crowded buses, in supermarket aisles and beneath the fluorescent buzzing of train stations. A pressure just beyond perception. A patient intelligence standing one breath outside of the range of my senses. Sometimes it would come to the cold, sometimes with a ringing in my ears, sometimes with sudden flashes of thought so foreign and sharp that they seemed to thrust my mind by another hand. Do you see yet? Do you remember? Do not look away. I tried, at first, to explain it away. Lack of sleep, stress, anxiety. The result of reading too much into coincidence? But rational explanations began failing, one by one, each collapsing under the weight of what followed. Numbers started repeating, not merely appearing more often, as skeptics might say, but pursuing me with deliberate insistence on receipts, clocks, number plates, voicemail timestamps, apartment doors, torn pages in books. I found second-hand graffiti under bridges, half-heard announcements over broken station speakers. The same sequences, the same arrangements, again and again, until chance could no longer wear the mask of innocence. Then came the dreams, or perhaps it would be more honest of me to call them visitations. For in them I stood barefoot in a vast black field beneath a sky with no stars. Beneath me rose a structure impossible to measure. Part temple, part ruin, part living thing. The walls were formed from shadow and stone and something that resembled bone polished by age. Symbols crawled across its surface like wounds, opening up and closing again. There were steps leading upward, though they did not seem to rest on any earth I knew. At the summit stood a doorway, veiled in a darkness deeper than the night around it. Each time I dreamed it, I came closer to it. Each time something waited on the other side, I never saw its face. I only felt recognition and dread. The third time the dream came, I woke with blood on my pillow. A thin line had opened across the skin between my eyebrows. I stared at it in the bathroom mirror, nausea rising in my throat. It was too precise to be accidental, too centered to ignore. Not a wound exactly, more like a mark beginning to declare itself. I touched it, and a violent pulse went through my skull. Then I heard it, not with my ears. Inside, a voice, low and resonant, neither male nor female, neither cruel nor kind. You are not meant to sleep this long. I dropped to my knees on the bathroom tiles, clutching the sink for balance. The room pitched sideways, my vision filled with black motes that swarmed like insects across the light. For a moment I thought I would faint. Instead, I remained there, half collapsed, half trembling, while tears I did not understand burned down my face. I wish I could say that was the moment I accepted what was happening. It was not. Human beings are creatures of denial. We'll step over omens, bury intuitions, and nail shut the doors of our own perception, rather than admit the world is stranger than we were taught. I was no different. I wanted my old life back, even as I began to suspect it had never belonged to me at all.